Most companies don't have a video department. They have a graveyard of one-off projects that never paid for themselves. There's a brand video here, a product launch video there, thousands of dollars, and not one of them tied to a number that actually matters. Here's the uncomfortable part about this, though. It's not a creative problem, it's a systems problem. So every functioning department runs on 4 layers. And if you skip even one, the whole thing leaks and falls apart. You got to define it, build it, measure it, then run it. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly which layer is bleeding your video budget dry. So let's get into it. The first layer is strategy. This is where you define what needs to happen. This is everything that you need to do before the cameras even start rolling. Before you film anything, whether you were on camera, a member of your team, maybe there's actors, spokespeople, whatever it may be, this is something internally that your video department, on a broader scale, your marketing department, your business operations need to define what your videos are supposed to do for your business. And this is where here at Vid, we talk about it's important that you align and attribute each video to a specific business outcome. And that way you can know this video led to this lead, then led to this sell. And so in defining what that looks like, it leads to success for videos. And to do that, you don't necessarily need to go and create a video that then is run as a paid campaign where there is more direct attribution, right? Where you know this paid creative, this video ad led to this click-through rate, and then led to them going on this landing page, buying this product, booking this call, buying the service. That is oftentimes more directly correlated where you can put a pixel to measure that. But when it comes to majority of the content you should be producing in your video department, it comes down to attribution to organic video content, because that is the bulk of the volume of videos that are being produced consistently, fitting within your video system. So you should have your videos attributed to a specific business outcome, but also attributed to a specific ICP or your ideal customer persona or profile. So in planning around each video, you need to know who it's for. And you may have done all the work, right? Knowing exactly here's our ICP, here's who we serve, here's who buys from us consistently. But I would even say there's many ICPs built within that, because those who buy from you are at different stages of their journey, their buying journey, right? So as you're familiar with the marketing funnel or sales funnel, there is stages of that buying journey, from awareness to consideration to conversion and then to retention. Oftentimes people assign different words, but that's the gist of it, right? Where you need to get people aware you exist. And I often call this the know phase. People to get to know you, get to know your brand, your story, and the story that's about them. And then the next phase, I often call love, where you get people to fall in love with you and your brand, get them to recognize you as the authority. And this is usually where they become a lead. They are considering and they are starting to convert. So they either opt into something, put their name and email in a place, or they buy a product or service. And the retention is usually the trust phase. This is where you deliver the product or service. So know, love, trust is the 3-step funnel I usually break down when it comes to content. But for many in the marketing space like you're looking at it from the way of awareness, consideration, conversion, and then retention. And so in considering each of these phases of the buying journey, so again, to use our language, know, love, trust, building this customer relationship, you need to understand what stage of your ICP fit into this consideration in this journey phase. Because based on your ideal customer being in the know phase, that requires a greater volume of content and messaging that is very top of the funnel. Mid funnel is the love phase, and then the bottom of the funnel is the retention, where you want to keep those customers. So in the top of the funnel, with 80% of your content and your messages living here from video and defining what that looks like, you need to speak to maybe a broader aspect of your ICP and not so narrow, but you want to capture their attention so they become aware that you do exist and you have something of value to provide them. And then as you move into the next phases, the mid funnel, where they're starting to fall in love with you and what kind of solutions you can provide them or solution, then you want to put the effort into their different thinking, their different buying behaviors, because this is where you need to start to prepare them to buy from you and move through conversion and to then the bottom of the funnel. So again, each of these phases feed to different mindset, different psychology around your ideal customer and what stage of their buying journey that they're in, but also the types of videos that are being created. Oftentimes, to jump back to the top of the funnel, the no phase, this is, as mentioned, the greatest volume of content efforts you need to put in. Sometimes the mid and oftentimes the mid and the bottom of the funnel are videos that could be more evergreen. Think of like a video sales letter or a re-engagement video. Maybe there's a Loom video that you send to re-engage previous prospects, or maybe there's added value, an executive message, things like that. But the top of funnel requires the most volume, right? And so this is where you have your short form video content. This is where you have your product explainers, which could also fit into the mid funnel side of things. But you also have your ad creative where you're capturing attention. You have the podcast interviews. You have your PR messages, your sales messages. And of course, there's overlaps and they can feed different stages of the funnel, but usually it's all about capturing that initial attention. It's less salesy at this phase because you want to qualify people. And then your direct response can kick in the mid funnel and the bottom of the funnel. So as you define who your videos are actually for and what business outcome you're looking to do, and you want to map video inside of your marketing funnel at those three phases that we define here at Vid, which is know, love, and trust, this customer relationship, you want to then choose your format. So this is the type of video that you're going to create and fit into the funnel and match to your buyer. So I mentioned some of them: video sales letter and product explainer, ad creative, podcasts. The list can go on, and there's many different types. And I'm not saying go off and create every single type of video content out there, but identify what will work best for your type of audience. And to explore more of what video formats are available to you and how to approach them, we actually have a resource you can check out in the links down below at vid.co/video formats, and you can learn more about what types of video formats work for different stages of the buying journey for your customers. And then what you got to do here is understand, okay, as you know what video to make, what format it's going to be in, who it's for, then you have accurately and confidently defined what success looks like for your video, let alone your overall video strategy. So it's all about defining the strategy first, and then you can move on into the building, which gets more creative, and you can start to build out your system and the way by which you are making videos consistently. So to do that, let's actually explore this resource here. So in sharing my screen, this is our, what we call the video operating system, or VidOS. And this is your marketing team's video department. And what we allow you to do and help you do is we install it and make it hands-off. So that way it's not reliant on us. It's not reliant on any in-house or out-of-house vendor. And we install a complete video operating system inside your marketing team in 30 days from the strategy. So that's the define it, as I described, to the production infrastructure, the ability to consistently make new videos, tracking the performance, making sure those videos are tied to a business outcome and real leads and sales in your business, and then training your team to run it by day 31. So that way you're not relying on any agency. It's built in-house. And if you have a team member leave on vacation or leave the company, It is incorporated into your business operation, kind of like your CRM is or other operations. And if you decide to have it run in-house, great, we celebrate that. Or we help run it for you as an option where we set it up. You can hire us to then fire us, is what we say. But we are happy to continue to run the operation and this video infrastructure for you. So let's explore what this framework looks like. And to do that, the first layer we talked about was strategy. So again, the promise here, no camera turns on before the layer is complete. Strategy is documented, and it's the foundation for every script, brief, or piece of content that's built from that. And what you have by the end of this phase, this first layer of 4, is a documented strategic architecture and brief that your team can write every script from. They can build every brief and measure every piece of content against. And this is a permanent piece of your operation. And then here's specific deliverables ranging from brand messaging framework to your character brief, which is related to your ICP, to establishing brand standards. So again, this is all within the strategy phase, layer 1. Brand standards help contribute to knowing what fonts, colors, logos, what messaging, and other forms of basically your brand style guide. So that way the visual side of your videos are consistent and on brand. This is not always a make or break depending on the size of your operation or marketing, but it's still one of those foundational items that many marketing departments like yours find important, and they are important because it creates a consistent look, as polished or unpolished as you need or want that to be, especially aligned to your ICP. So we mentioned a little bit on video formats. So there are different categories for the video formats that allow them to fit into the buyer journey. The funnel audit, this is hands down one of the most important things in this phase because we talked, kind of referenced it a little bit, right? Understanding your buying journey, but the funnel audit, what it really speaks to is if, hey, like kind of consider this, right? If you go to create massive volumes of video content and it goes out to the world, it drives eyeballs to your business. But then if those eyeballs and those visitors, those people start to take the next step, they maybe click a link that takes them to your website, or they explore other aspects of you online. They may search you in ChatGPT or Google and try to find more information about you. But if you don't have a clear buying journey that you own entirely, so through your website first, where people can easily show up on your website or show up on a specific landing page and then go through that funnel to click the schedule a call or buy this product or watch this demo, a way by which they can become a lead. So put their name and email and ideally more information like their phone number into your system, into your CRM, and then proceed into the next step by getting on an auto email campaign to retarget them on buying your product or service or following up with a member of your team, whatever it is that you're selling, be that SaaS or otherwise, digital products, physical products, services, having a way by which your sales process is predictably working. It's just a matter of adding more traffic, adding more leads to that funnel. Then we know that your funnel is working, your sales funnel. And that is foundational. We need to make sure that that's working first. And hey, if you're coming to us at this point, if you are building your business from scratch and you're looking at your video department, and then within that, your marketing department, I should say, and then your video department within that, then that is one of the best ways to then make sure that your sales funnel, that foundation is established. So considering that, and then the 90-day content roadmap in the strategy phase, we want to make sure it's not just a flash in the pan, that this strategy is applied to a 90-day sprint, so your next quarter worth of efforts, and then you measure and iterate throughout that process. Then your ICP video map, yes, every single deliverable is mapped to a specific aspect of your ideal customer. Channel blueprint, this is related to the distribution channels. We often talk about 7 growth channels. So this ranges from performance creative, so all of the paid advertising channels to short form to enterprise internal communications or executive communications to podcasts, YouTube, and the list goes on. But we have 7 core main growth channels for distribution. So we make sure that we prioritize one primary channel for your video content to see success. And then as it makes sense, you add additional channels from there. But of course, that channel, that blueprint needs to be aligned to where your ICP are actually spending their time online. If none of them spend time on TikTok, don't put your efforts there first. If they're all on LinkedIn, that should be your number 1 growth channel for authority building. And then having a shoot brief. So this gives you the confidence to know when you go to hit record on your camera, even if AI is incorporated into this, keep in mind, we do use AI as a companion, but with the final output being fully human. And so having the shoot brief to know all of the protocols and steps to take when it comes to planning and completing a successful video shoot, be that every day, every week, every month, whatever that cadence looks like. We establish that. And then performance map, we want to make sure that every video is tied to your pipeline and that there's direct attribution for the small and ideally large volume of video content you need for consistent visibility. So then we map that through UTM links, and that's part of the strategy there. And then having all this tied up into a clear strategy brief for your team. So that is the first phase, right? The first layer. So layer 2, we move into build it. This is where ideas don't scale, but we focus on system scaling. So operations install the production infrastructure, and then they turn the strategy layer into a running weekly operation. So no chaos, no bottlenecks, and no dependency on any single person. It's not human dependent, it's system dependent. And then the idea here is that we have a running production operation inside of your project management software, your system. It's documented, it's delegated, and it's really fitting around the 3 Ps of what we call it. We have a process, we have the people, and we have the tools or the platform that are being used. And AI helps to power that process to free up the busy work. So that way there's consistency in your video output in your system. So we hit on a weekly cadence. We actually reference Saturday Night Live. They've, over the last 50 years, really have dialed in their ongoing predictable video system. And then a way by which you can be supplied with scripts that AI, yes, is a companion, but shouldn't be relying on every single word for word script. Maybe just structure, or maybe it's fully human creative. And then pre-production system, where you have a way by which you can have scripts approved by specific stakeholders, in-house executive team, if that's relevant, based on the videos in your strategy, and then guiding the production. So knowing exactly what the camera settings should be, notes to the director, be that you, right? If you are a one man or woman operation, that needs to fit into the planning. And then post-production system, you don't want to have footage lost in the ether. You want to have a predictable way by which you have metadata and file naming, folder structure, and that predictability there. And then we plug in AI tools throughout the entire workflow to free up the human side of things. So that way human creativity can win and AI can help power the back end. And then we set up ways by which you can multiply your content. So not only the videos you record, but then have those repurposed and reposted in a genuine way across your main growth channels. And then a publishing playbook for each channel, but of course, prioritizing your main distribution channel. And then a sales video library. This is key. Think of like B-roll, but more importantly than that, videos that are used for frequently asked questions, sales enablement. And then we activate your channel. So a way by which you can track performance on your top channels, and then having a consistent quality standard. So that way you don't have to wait for maybe management at times, or maybe it's yourself who needs to approve the quality control and making sure it's aligned to the brand and having that brand integrity baked in. And then related to that is the approval workflow. And then as we move on as well, let's go into layer 3, performance. This is where you measure how the videos are doing. So this is all about having delivery not being the finish line, but performance is installing and tracking and all the optimization, that infrastructure that exists there. So that way video is a measurable pipeline asset. Simply means videos make your team and your company money and help serve your audience. And then you want to have, the output of this phase, this layer is a performance tracking infrastructure that answers the question every CMO is asking. Is video working? Is video directly growing our business? And we want that answer to be an easy yes, but also proof, dashboards and analytics, data to show your CMO, your executive team, any member of your team, yourself, that videos are predictably working to grow your business. So this is where we have revenue attribution. We put IDs to your video assets. We have tracking standards, a way by which we're consistently optimizing and iterating to improve your ability to measure and grow what works and stop doing what doesn't work in your video system. And then moving on to layer number 4, this is deployment, where the system, the video operating system, the video department we have built inside of your company or you have built yourself following our VidOS framework, that it's able to run and predictably bring results. So the system is only as good as the team operating it. So deployment ensures every person who touches the video workflow is trained on their specific role and confirms the system runs independently before the engagement closes. So obviously that's implying when we engage with you, 30 days we install it. If you do it yourself, then we celebrate you as you get the system to run without any dependent on humans, but also not plug in AI avatars in every single video, that you put humans behind it, because that's going to win the day for now into the future, infinity and beyond, right? And the output here of this layer is to have a trained team operating a documented video system independently. And so this is where there's a training playbook, there's a knowledge base, there's a ownership over the system, who manages it, who helps measure it to make sure it's successful, and then really a video department manual to take it from there and use tried and true principles, but also understanding the nuances and timeliness of AI tools, softwares, processes that are working to truly grow businesses with video. Because we've all seen the stats, many of us have, where B2B marketers and the efforts behind marketing overall, video is still and will continue to be the best type of video content, the best type of content overall to drive the biggest engagement, the biggest results for not only top of the funnel awareness, but conversion and retention, right? The know, love, trust. People to feel like they're interacting with humans and not looking at an AI avatar, or not just getting an email, but getting a visual email, or not just being engaged with another DM on LinkedIn or on Instagram, but maybe there's a voice note, or more importantly, a video note that's coming directly from humans. And considering how video fits into the entire buying journey in your B2B marketing efforts. So that's a snapshot. I'll share this resource on a full breakdown of our video operating system, again called VidOS, available to you so you can see what does it look like to successfully define, build, measure, and then run a video operating system. And in doing so, you'll have the confidence to know video is actually working, and you can prove it with the analytics, the data, plus the creative that is actually working to grow your audience, build a community, people who are attracted to your brand and the story that you're telling. And then they naturally take next steps in their buying journey to become a lead, to join your email list, to be retargeted, and to be a lifelong customer. So you increase your customer lifetime value and grow your business as a result of doing video right. And this all comes back to setting up a video operating system what we often call video infrastructure, kind of like how you have email infrastructure with a CRM, or software infrastructure with other aspects of your operations. Video needs to have its own operating system, and that's what VidOS is. So we help you establish that, install that inside of your company, and build a video department around that with the humans you need to operate that in-house or out of house, as we may run it for you. Or you got the people, you got the processes, the workflows to follow, and the platforms or the tools to use. So that is VidOS in a nutshell. And if you want to learn more, simply visit vid.co. And thanks for tuning in. See you on the next episode.